Okay, guys. My apologies, because I think I've been talking this entire time and my mic hasn't been picking things up. You live and you learn, right? Okay. Let's start over. So this is going to go a little, this is going to go a little longer than I had originally anticipated. My apologies, you guys. I'm a little embarrassed, but we're just gonna pick up from here. So if you're joining for the first time, again, this is a session for you to get answers about AI and automation for your business. If you have questions, oh man, Jew, thank you. I don't know if you're still around, man. Unfortunately, I did not realize. Thank you for shooting me. Let me shoot you a thank you, man. I just noticed and fixed it. Man, how embarrassing, guys. This, you know what? It's okay, though. We live and we learn and we move on, right? So, all right. So if you have questions about AI and automation for your business, this time is meant for you. I've got this first 30 minutes set aside to be a public-facing Q&A for you guys. The last hour I spend with the folks in the AI Employee Club getting into more nitty-gritty stuff that they run into in their business. And we also go into depth on certain other things. Like recently, we had set up a connection between our Claude desktop application and the Go High Level system. And we were pretending that we were adding a new contact, Severus Snape, and he had just joined Hogwarts, and we wanted to send him a welcome email as a new faculty member. And so those are the types of things that you can do with AI. We're going to be in the AI Employee Club next, digging into how can we set up some additional automation beyond just having to manually input stuff all the time. So we'll be looking at, well, how can we, for example, put information into a spreadsheet and then have it run some stuff and then maybe send those emails, like add the contact, send the email for us. So those are the types of things that we'll be doing if there's no additional Q&A or questions that people have in that session on the back end. But for now, what we're going to do is because the audio was out for the first 15 minutes, I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes. We're going to add an extra 15 minutes to answering your questions as they come in. If you do have questions, please put your questions in the tally form. I have a link in the chat and on YouTube, and I believe on Facebook as well. They should also be in the video description. Go fill out that form with whatever questions you have. I'm going to see those come in live on my side. They'll come in through a little spreadsheet that I've got hooked up. And then I'm going to be just going through each of those and answering your questions as they come in. I'll try to reiterate that a couple times because I know people might join late, and that's okay. So let's take a look at our questions here. I got to go back through the questions that I had previously answered, but that's okay. Hopefully this will give some folks time to add some more questions. So our first question of the night is from Becca. And Becca asks, if AI could clone my best employee's brain, could it turn my office for run my office for a week while we all go on vacation? So the answer to this question, Becca, I think it depends. I would just say, just so you know, like I am a guy who loves tech. I love AI. I love automation. And even I would just hesitate a little bit to immediately try to replace everybody and go on vacation. Nobody works and everybody goes on vacation. The reason for that is because in my mind, like, you need a good human in the loop somewhere. And, I think AI is pretty darn good and it's getting better. But at the same time, it's only as good as you set it up to be. And this is true with all tech, right? Like, sometimes you set up something and you had a bug somewhere and you didn't realize you had a bug. So, to a degree, yes. I think the best way to think about this is think about defining your processes really well in your business first. Then, based on those processes, figure out what tasks in those processes, or maybe what parts of your processes, could be automated away to help save people time, maybe do more accurate work, so on and so forth. So that's how I would look at setting up these systems, and maybe that results in you guys getting a little bit more vacation time. But I would still be cautious to completely replace people, especially for certain things like, I don't know, it's just sometimes you have a more personal touch with people, and that's beneficial as well. So, Beck, I hope that answers your question. Let me take a look and see what other questions we have. Again, if you are just now joining us and you do have questions about AI and automation or systems for your business or for your investing, please take a look at that tally form that I have in the chat or in the video description, wherever you're watching this. Fill that out and I will see those questions come in live on my side. All right, let's take a look at our next question. So we had a question. Our second question that we covered before was from Marco. So Marco asks, is there a way to train AI to spot red flags in Zillow listings or seller speech patterns? I believe the answer to that question, Marco, is yes, absolutely. Again, it depends on how well you set it up. You might get varied results, but here's how I would think about it. For these AI, and when I say AI, and when you say AI, I'm assuming you mean these more modern AI like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, or Claude, or something of that nature. So all of the way they function depends on the context that you give to them. So there's a couple of key parts. One is you need to give it a role. So you say, okay, well, you are an expert in real estate investing with over 20 years of experience, right? That's your role. Then you say, what is the goal? The goal is to find the best deals possible so that we can make, $1 million in cash flow this year, or whatever it is. And then you say, okay, this is your task. Your task is to help us identify potential red flags in Zillow listings or in any communication with potential sellers. So you give those things, and then the last piece that's going to be really, really important is giving it examples. So you want to say, okay, based on the information that you see, here are some examples of inputs, and you may even give it outputs that would be considered a red flag. And so you might say, well, if somebody says it's a fixer-upper, that is a red flag, right? Or whatever it is. So you could do that as inputs, and then if you wanted to specify the way it outputs, like if you wanted to say red flag, then you say output red flag. Or if it's something that's okay, because you also want to give it a mix of positive and negative examples, so that way it can be more accurate. So you would say, well, if they say, I've been trying to sell this and for some reason I just can't, the property is in good condition, I'm just needing to move out quickly. maybe that's a green flag. And so you say, okay, that's green. That's a green flag. So, if you have those components and you put them into the context in your initial prompt, or in like, if you're a technical person, you do like a system prompt, then that is going to help guide it a lot. And then you can give it the additional data. So that's where you can then use something like ChatGPT's new agent tools or operator tools, or Claude's system, combined with some additional tooling, or Manus, or whatever it is, though I don't recommend Manus. So you could then say, okay, now I want you to go to this set of Zillow listings and identify potential red flags or green flags. You could hook it up to, your conversations, if you've got like a CRM or something like that, and you can have it evaluate based on that. So there's a bunch of different ways that you would need to integrate it potentially, but that's kind of the idea. So yes, Marco, the answer is it can definitely be used for something like that. I hope that answers your question. Let's take a look at our list here. For folks who are just joining in, if you've got questions, please go to the form that I have in the chat or in the video description and fill out that form with your questions. I see those come in live on my side. All right, let's go to our next question here. So, okay. So Dennis asks, can I use AI to write follow-up texts that sound like I'm desperate but still cool? Dennis, I probably wouldn't make it sound like you're desperate. But you definitely can use AI to help you write follow-up texts. And depending on the system that you're using, some systems have tooling built into them now that you can leverage to automatically create those follow-up texts. So I love Go High Level for something like this, because you can use their built-in like messaging AI to set up an interaction with like texting. I think it also works against like WhatsApp and some other various places, like so you can give it guidance, and just like we talked about earlier, how you can give context to these things, and then you can from there from there you can take in input and then have it like spit out stuff. So in your case, you would want to craft the context to say, okay, what role am I playing? Like, well, you are an expert negotiator, or salesperson, or you can say, oh, well, this is our goal. We're trying to buy as many couches as we can within a reasonable cost, or, whatever it is. And then essentially you set all that up, give it a few examples of some things that it could say, make sure you're very clear on the goal, like where you're headed, and the task. And you could give it like an example script to follow. I think that would be a good way to handle something like that. And then after that, you can feed in the text, and then it'll generate your next text for you. All right, Dennis, I hope that answers your question. Let's take a look at our next question here. So Vince is asking, if I whisper the word pre-foreclosure into my phone, can AI build me a campaign for it? Yes. I don't think that's going to be enough context unless it's already kind of asking you, what kind of campaign you're going to build. And also, like, there's a lot of information missing here, Vince. I would say that, are you talking about like an email campaign? Are you talking about a social media campaign? Are you talking about an ad campaign? What kind of campaign is this? The other part of this is going to be dependent upon your system. Some systems have a voice mode that you could leverage and you could talk to. Some systems do not have something like that. I think in theory, this kind of thing could be definitely created, though, in the long run. I think more and more we're going to start to see, as time goes on, heavy usage of AI to take our writing and to take our speech and to create new things based on that. I mean, we're already seeing that a lot with, people designing like websites, landing pages, writing copy for social media or whatever it is. And a lot of these platforms like ChatGPT are starting to integrate voice mode. And so you can now talk with these things. So Vince, kind of, I suppose so. You might be able to whisper into your phone and have a campaign built for you. Just make sure you talk nicely to it and you aren't a jerk about it, because otherwise maybe the AI will come back for you one day. All right. Let's look at our next question. And for folks who are joining, again, I'm going to repeat this a couple times, guys. If you're just joining in and you've got questions about AI, automation, or systems for your business, fill out the form that I have in the chat box or in the description of the video, and I will answer those. I see those come in live on my side. So we're just going through all of those for the next, I'd say we're probably going to hit this again for the next 15 minutes, because those first 15 minutes, apparently I did not have my audio set up properly, and my apologies to the folks who were sitting here watching me talk and hearing nothing. So let me take a quick drink. Okay. All right. So Hector is asking, could I use AI to track what day of the week my leads usually respond and what time respond and time messages for that? Okay, Hector, so this is an interesting question. I actually would say this probably is not a problem that I would use to solve, use AI to solve. So if you are tracking, so first of all, it implies that you have a system. You have to have some kind of system to be tracking your leads, right? To intake that information. And hopefully your system is set up to record the date and time that those leads are coming in. So I would say, first of all, if you don't have that system in place, you need to have that system in place. It could be as simple as, you set up like a Google form or a Tally form and you hooked it up to a Google spreadsheet. So that could be an option for your system if you just need something really simple right out of the box. The second step here is to then, on some periodic basis, you are going to have your tech aggregate the information that came in the last, or aggregate all of the information, and then say, okay, well, what is the highest, the day with the highest number of leads? And so you could based on that, you could write some kind of automation that would do that for you. And then based on that information, then you could set up some kind of automation to respond. But I would just even take a step back from this, Hector, and just say, why not just set up a system that'll automatically respond rather than, or respond within like 30 seconds or something like that, rather than like trying to time out when your messages should go. Because the thing is that most people will forget, like somebody fills out your form, or they go to your website or something like that, or you send them a message, and then people's lives are busy and they forget. That's why like a lot of people in business and in real estate, for example, will say, hey, you need to be able to touch a person multiple times typically before they're going to have a conversation with you about selling their property or buying your product or things like that. And so rather than like waiting and leaving time for them to forget you, just like set up a system that's going to respond almost immediately, so that way you don't lose that lead. There are lots of systems for that. It depends on the way that you are receiving those leads. So let's say you are receiving leads through like a Facebook business page. Well, you can use systems to connect to your business page, to your messages, and to respond once those messages come in. I believe Go High Level has these types of integrations built in that you could take advantage of. So I would look at something like that. Maybe it's an email. You can set up automations on email. What I would say probably is the useful part is for AI in that situation is being able to give the AI direction on how you want the script to go. Like when somebody reaches out, what is kind of like the path that they should follow? Like, how do you want to direct them? And what resources do you want to be available to provide to them? And so that's where leveraging an AI is going to be very helpful, because it can have conversations more like a person, and convert that lead into a real customer or a real client. I hope that answers your question, Hector. Okay, let me take a look at our questions to see what else we have. If you are watching and you have questions, I have a form in the chat description, I believe on YouTube and Facebook. Also in the description of the videos, you should be able to find them. Go fill out that form and I will see those questions come in live on my side. All right, let's go back to our questions here. So Janice, this is a good one. Okay, so Janice asks, is it possible to build a rude reply filter so I never see another angry Facebook comment again? Oh, this is really interesting. Man, I love this question, Janice. So I think yes. So you're definitely going to want to use AI for something like that, because so traditionally what people would do with a lot of these like chat filters is it would be keyword based. And so you're only going to be able to like limit to certain keywords, and if there's sometimes like there's context in some of this stuff that is not easily picked up with a keyword identifier. So AI is going to be really good for this kind of stuff. You could, again, it's all about the context that you give it, right? You tell it what its role is, what its goal is, give it a task, give it examples of things that need to be filtered out. And so you could do something like that. Now, there's a bit there about like, so you don't have to see it, So whether or not you see something like that is going to be based on, what kind of system you're using. So if you're just looking directly at the social media system, like Facebook, for example, then the only way for you to not see those types of things would be, okay, you have to be able to set up some kind of integration to go in and like detect, oh yeah, like that's considered rude or something, and then to like delete the message. You may not obviously be able to control it on other people's posts and stuff like that. The other way to do it is if you had some kind of like aggregate system, and there are some of these actually that are out there that will let you post on your business pages and stuff like that. I'll use Go High Level as an example again for this. Like you can hook it up to your business page. I believe you can also hook it up to your Instagram professional account, and some other places. And so you could use that as a filter potentially. There are some other other software out there where you can see schedule posts. So you could probably hook up an AI tool into these systems, so that way it like pre-filters it out for you. So I think the answer to this is yes. It's just a matter of how could you integrate it. But I love that use case. That's very, very interesting. Another way you could handle it is if it identifies something rude, you could just have it automatically reply for you rather than even just filtering it out. So that's also another option. And you save your sanity a little bit. But then you gain the benefit of like, okay, well, you're still responding to the comments, right? So the algorithm says, oh, okay, this person is active. So, okay. Let's take a look. We've got about 4 more minutes before we head over to the AI Employee Club. So I'm going to take one more question, and then I think we're going to wrap it up for the day. Maybe another question. For those who are watching, I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen so far. You are welcome to anytime submit your questions in the form that I have in the chat or in the description of the video. If I don't see them or get to them today, that is totally okay, because that link is always available. And I use that same link every single time I do these sessions. So if you submit your question, then I'm going to see it the next time that we come, and then I'll address it. So let me get to our last question. Maybe I'll have time for a second question. Let me pull this up. So, okay. Claire asks, can I build a system that tracks every time a client ghosts me and send them a breakup text? Claire, this is an interesting question. The answer is yes, you could definitely do that. You would need a system that can operate on some time interval. So it needs to be a system that, and again, I go back to Go High Level. Guys, I love Go High Level. It does a lot of stuff that you're asking about, which is really, really nice, all in one tool. So I would say, yes, you just need to make sure it is timing based. AI tools don't by default, like a chatbot tool, for example, if it's strictly a chatbot, it is not going to have built in by default some kind of timing mechanism where it can say, well, if somebody doesn't respond within a certain amount of time, then hey, send this text. There are some systems, I think, increasingly that can do these things, like I think I've seen somebody use ChatGPT to send a text. I forget. I thought I saw somebody hook it up, but anyways, that's a side note. So You just have to make sure, like, again, your tool has some kind of like schedule, like it can schedule a task. And then if it can schedule that task and then based on that, then do an evaluation and then send the text, then you're good. So yes, Claire, you can definitely build a system that will track when your client ghosts you, and then you can send them a breakup text. All right. So that is going to be it for today, guys. I hope this was a helpful session for you. If you have questions in the future, I would love to have you in our future sessions. We do these, the goal is to do these every Monday evening. Typically we start at like, I think I've got it 6:30 on the schedule. We had to push it back a little bit tonight to make sure that, I had some stuff going on, so I had to push it back a little bit, but I didn't want to miss. So we're going to be, you'll see that like on Facebook, you'll see the scheduled event. If you have questions in the meantime that come up, please submit those questions at the form. Again, that's linked in the video description and is also linked in the chat. I will see those the next time I come in, so you can submit those anytime you have a question throughout the week. Before I close out, I want to extend an invitation to you guys to either get reminders for our future Q&As or to join the AI Employee Club. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the links for these and put these into the chat on Facebook and YouTube. This is going to be, let me make sure that this is spaced out here properly. So, my apologies to you folks on YouTube, that didn't come out right. I'll have to do it one at a time. So, if you want to get email reminders, like a day before and then 10 minutes before, then you can come in and fill out that form there. If you want to join the AI Employee Club, if you're interested in getting additional, let me put this in here. Okay. So if you are interested in digging deeper into in-depth questions that you have for your business or for your investing about AI, automation systems, anything like that, and you want more like a face-to-face small group type setting, then we do that in the AI Employee Club. We're going to be spending the next hour after I close this out, depending on who shows up, actually digging into those questions. And if there's no questions, then we're going to get into some interesting stuff about how to set up AI. We're going to be focused on taking what we did with the Quad desktop integration with Go High Level to the next level, where we set up an integration with Google Sheets in Make. So we're going to use make.com. We're going to integrate with Google Sheets, and then we're going to connect it to Go High Level. So that way, when we submit some data inside of Google Sheets, it's going to generate the contact for us. It's going to send the email for us automatically. So if that is the type of stuff that you want to learn how to do, if you need like a done with you solution or a do-it-yourself solution, then the AI Employee Club is going to be the thing that you want to join. We also have our one-day AI Receptionist Challenge recording inside of the AI Employee Club. So when you join, you get access to the live Q&As, you get access to that recording, so that way you can set up your own voice AI receptionist and Go High Level. You'll also get access to our community resources, any special discounts or tools that I'm putting in there. You'll get access to, like a place where you can ask questions and get help. So there's lots of awesome things inside of that community. It is really meant to be a solution for folks who just need a little bit of additional help, but they really kind of want to do some of this themselves. So if that's something that interests you, I'd look forward to having you inside of the AI Employee Club. With that said, we're going to end it here for the evening. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, I hope you have a fantastic week. I'll see you next Monday. Take it easy.